If Jesse Rodriguez destroys Antonio Vargas, then he's arguably either going to be the best pound for pound in the world. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we are predicting this weekend's main event for the WBA Bantamweight Title, Antonio Vargas versus Jesse Bam Bam Rodriguez. Now, honestly, guys, I don't think this fight is going to be as close, that close at all. Because listen, the style of Bam Bam Rodriguez is a very explosive fighter, and he's also a very smart fighter too. He's, in my opinion, one of the most dominant fighters in the lower weight class divisions. And I actually think this is the only Jesse Bam Bam Rodriguez could be the only one to beat Naoya Inoue, but that we'll talk about that later in the video. But Antonio Vargas overall is a very good fighter. He's a smart fighter. I wouldn't say he's a very elite fighter, but he's a good champion. But one thing I'm concerned here for Antonio Vargas, that Antonio Vargas has a very high guard, but what happens is he kind of relies on that too much, and some of you guys are probably wondering, how is that a problem? Well, it's a problem because you're using your high guard and then you're trying to block the punches. Over time, the more you block the punches with your arms, your arms will start to hurt more. So once they kind of throw throughout the fight, they kind of can just punch right through them because your arms are so weak from blocking all those punches. That's why he's gonna have footwork. Even though he has good footwork, but I feel like he just relies on a high guard so much that kind of concerns me. I think Bam Bam Rodriguez is going to put the pressure on him. Bam Bam is going to move around. Try. I think he's a shorter fighter, so try and close that reach and try and explode at him. Like, we look at Antonio Vargas' last fight against that guy he had a draw with, Diego Lima. The name's right up here. But yeah, he didn't really do. He did good, and I kind of thought he won the fight. I mean, I kind of wouldn't argue if you guys thought the other guy won the fight, so that's not what I'm saying. But I just think, throughout that fight, he was kind of, worried about his high guard. And, over time, the punches were starting to go through the blocks. And Bam Bam Rodriguez kind of, is a harder puncher. But, sometimes you can face fighters who aren't harder punchers. But then once you face a harder puncher, it's kind of, better for you. But, this is Bam Bam Rodriguez, arguably one of the best. If he beats if Jesse Rodriguez destroys Antonio Vargas, then he's arguably going to be the best pound for pound in the world besides Shakur or Usyk. Possible. It's a possibility. But now, a few things that I'm gonna say that I feel like that Jesse needs to do is that he needs to be patient towards the beginning rounds, because that's when you kind of see Antonio Vargas try to read you. So I feel like what Jesse Rodriguez really needs to do is throw. I'm not saying throw a lot, but throw a little so you can kind of confuse Antonio Vargas, because Antonio Vargas, like I said, tries to read people for the first two rounds. So if Antonio Vargas can't get a read on a Bam Bam Rodriguez, then it's gonna be a bad night. I feel like if Antonio Vargas can't read you, he kind of has a struggle throughout the fight. So that's why I feel like that's what Jesse Rodriguez needs to be more aware of, and be aware of that jab. Because Antonio Vargas has a good jab. He's a pretty smart fighter. But, he can rely on like I said, he can rely on the high guard a little bit too much. But overall, he's just a smart fighter. Is he an elite fighter? I wouldn't say so, but he's a good champion. He can definitely fight. But yeah. Now, who am I predicting to win this fight? I'm going ahead and I'm going to pick, I think Jesse Rodriguez wins this one. And honestly, I wouldn't argue if you guys think that Jesse Rodriguez will win this fight towards the early rounds. But I think Antonio Vargas is smart enough to survive the first half, and then towards that 10th, 11th, 12th round, I think that's when he gets knocked out. I think that's when Jesse Rodriguez is going to go for the kill and knock him out. But yeah, like I said, Antonio Vargas needs to try, use that jab trick, use a lot of feigning shots to beat Jesse Rodriguez. Move around, try and dodge his punches. If he can do that, he can have a better chance of beating Jesse Rodriguez, and also, like I said, tricking him, like I said, feigning shots, counters, all that other stuff. But another thing, Jesse Rodriguez, man, he's just a freaking brutal fighter. Like, if you look at his last fight when he fought Fernando Martinez, I didn't expect him to do that to Fernando Martinez. I thought he was going to win a split decision, but the way he did that to Fernando Martinez was honestly insane. He just walked through him like it was nothing. And that's why I feel like Antonio Vargas is going to have a very tough time beating Jesse Rodriguez. But now, that will be the end of the video, y'all. Thank y'all for 108 subscribers. I appreciate y'all for all liking and subscribing, but make sure if you guys like the video, subscribe. If you guys haven't already, turn on notifications, share my videos with your friends and family. Comment down below who you guys got winning this fight and Jesse Rodriguez or Antonio Vargas by knockout or decision. Let me know. And which round do you got if you guys think this fight's, whoever you think is going to win by knockout. But that'll be the end of the video, y'all. I'll see you on the next one. I'm out.